Can you start by just talking about Saturday scrimmage and what do you think your quarterbacks are?
Yeah, so Saturday scrimmage felt like in totality, defense probably came up with a little bit of an upper hand. I thought they had good energy. Saw what I needed to see. Really challenged our pass rushers, to get back to the quarterback, and I thought they did a better job. I thought both the quarterbacks, they're battling. Both of them made a couple big plays. Still got to continue to push through the competition and just make the routine plays and not press and not try to win the job on every single play, right? And obviously some of the guys around them got to do a better job of helping too. Just overall, and we're a little bit thin on the offensive line right now with Boley being down. Boley will be a couple more weeks, and Stevens is day to day, so we didn't have some of our top guys. But it was really good for the young guys to get in there because heck, we learned last year, depth. It's got to be ready. But kicking game, saw some improvements. Still working hard on our punt team, trying to find solidify our snapper situation. Bunch has been a really good addition to us, but still, trying to figure out who's going to be that next guy behind him between Hayden Rollinson and Luke Byrne. Sparky's punting the ball well. And now this week we'll get into really the other phases of our kicking game with all the kickoff return and punt return. But primarily we've been focusing on field goal and punt the first week because that's where we got to improve. We had 2 block last year that were 1-score games that gave up touchdowns. So that's been the point of emphasis. And Coach Gaither's working extremely hard with Drew and got all the coaches involved and we're going to get better at punt if we don't do anything. But overall, came out from the scrimmage, pretty healthy. Obviously, today's another physical day. We're right back at it, full pads, working some end-of-game situations. Really, trying to get the guys accustomed to the new rules with the 2-minute timeout at the end of the game. So we're working some live stuff there, and looks like we made it out of practice healthy again. So I got some guys back too that were out for the scrimmage, and throughout the course of the week we'll get a lot more guys. Just some soft tissue hamstrings that we'll get back this week. Just piggybacking on that, just injury situation. JR is going to be a couple weeks. We got good news, so it wasn't as serious as it could have been. Did have to get a quick procedure, a scope, so he'll be a couple weeks. Like I said, Boley will be back here pretty soon. Stevens is day to day with his foot. A lot of the other guys came back into practice. I'm just trying to see. X Brown will be a couple weeks with his shoulder. Bryce is probably the longest term. Bryce Carter with his knee. But all those other guys we anticipate, and y'all knew about Makai and y'all knew about Stevie.
And the cornerback position, that was something
Yeah.
you highlighted. Any kind of changes after the scrimmage? Anyone kind of pop out what you want?
Kempton Shine probably had the best scrimmage of the group and came up with a big play in the scrimmage. But the other guys are battling, and this week we'll have a chance to really. It's going to be all padded practices throughout the week, and then we'll scrimmage again on Friday. So, by the time we get through Friday and into Monday of next week, we'll probably have a little bit better, idea of anybody separating. But, Shine did have a big play, which obviously, everybody saw, but still some things technically, that they got to improve on, and all of them really pressing those guys to come up and tackle. Because with what we do, run fit wise, the corners. They're instrumental in helping us down the football.
You had Terrell Harris make a pretty good catch early in the scrimmage.
Yep.
First of all, what do you guys do to beat out so many Big Ten schools to get him, and what have you seen from him through the training camp?
I guess we just were ourselves and made it about relationship, and we're persistent and consistent with the messaging, and then when he came down here, he got a really good feel for it, and I think it didn't hurt the success that Malik had last year, knowing that we do have a way to make sure that he can get the ball, I think that he also saw that he could play complementary football with Malachi on the other side, which helps when you're looking at any situation you're going into as a wideout. Having other guys around you that can, tilt the coverage or balance up the coverage. But I would just say we were ourselves, and he was looking for a situation where he felt like it was a family environment and he could have good relationships that were meaningful on the field and off the field with the coaches. And I think the production of the receiver position over the last couple of years is kind of speaks for itself.
You had pretty nice weather today, so I guess you don't have to worry about it. But in your career, how have things changed in terms of managing heat? How far you push athletes? What kind of information you have to work with?
Yeah, it's changed. It's changed a lot. I mean, we got core temp pills, where they swallow a pill and the medical folks walk up and they can with some type of like a phone or a device, and they know what their body temperature is and get an accurate reading, and a lot of education has taken place from the medical folks throughout the course of the year, just educating us on heat-related illnesses and injuries, and I think this stigmas have changed over time, and I think that obviously unfortunately bad things have happened related to the heat. That's really brought awareness to it, which is a good thing. Unfortunately, I hate that it took bad things for us to really start paying attention to it. The other thing too is it's really a year-round deal, and so I think you gotta look at the year in totality, not just the hot practices, but just the workload that's on the body of these guys. So there's a science around how you manage the body of these student athletes nowadays, and I err on the side of being cautious, right? Because of situations where people have been pushed too far in the heat, and I wish it was a little bit hotter today, right? I think I'm just worried that we've had some mild weather, and then the lightning has kept us inside a couple days when it's been really hot just because of the lightning in the area. We couldn't get outside. I still want to balance, some exposure to the heat because September is going to be hot. We're going to be playing on turf, and I know we got a couple of night games out the gate, but I know in Winston-Salem it's not going to cool down that much when the sun goes down and you're playing on turf. So we got to be exposed to it because we are going to have to play in it. But at the same time too, I want to make sure that we don't abuse the bodies of the young men, but then we also have them in optimal position to be ready to go play once we kick it off.
Has it changed a lot either from your playing days to when you first started as an assistant? I know the technology is obviously different, but not the care obviously, but the awareness of the importance.
I think well, I remember when I was playing, we didn't even have cell phones, right? So there wasn't social media, there wasn't awareness, and there wasn't as much attention on it. But I think the training methods are very similar. I just think that the attention to detail and the science around it and just the awareness, and so the folks that are overseeing the instruction are a lot more prepared and aware, in my opinion. So they know what to look for, and they also have been educated on what can happen, and I don't think anybody ever wants that to happen. I think even back before when things have happened, I don't think anybody was wanting to make that happen, or even there's probably a lot of regret that did happen. I just think that people are a lot more aware because of technology and then the science behind it, and at the end of the day, it's just a game, and I think we know more than anybody as a program, man. Life is the most important thing, so we want to make sure that we value that.
With Xavier Brown down, you've probably seen more of Reese.
Yeah.
What have you seen from them, from the scrimmages, just as the development?
No, Reese has done a good job, and he's running violent. He's running hard. He missed spring ball with his off-season surgeries that he had, so he looks like he's almost back in shape. He's got good command of what we're doing. Having to carry a little bit heavier workload, all of them. Anytime a running back goes down, man, you only got about 5-6 of them. Right, so you don't have many bodies. So when one goes down, the other one's got to carry a workload. So he's been doing a good job of managing it and really pushing towards finding him a role within our offense.
What does he bring?
Yeah, he's a 200+ pound guy that's got deceptive speed. He's shiftier than you think. So in base downs, he can go execute all of the run schemes that we have in our offense. But then also he's a big guy that you can put in there in short yardage. and he catches the ball well out of the backfield. So he provides a lot of versatility for a guy his size, where in most cases a guy that size is kind of one-dimensional.
Just to clarify, Boley and JR, those guys get jeopardy this game time.
So JR, not Boley. Boley will be back soon. Just nursing an ankle. But JR did have to have his knee scoped, so he could be down a couple, but it's not long term.
What are you seeing other than Cam?
Ben Trey McDonald's done a good job, and he's really taken advantage of his opportunity as James is working back from his off-season surgery. So you're really starting to see him, and he's doing a good job of getting guys lined up. He looks really comfortable in the system. Dorian's been a good addition to the program. He brings an outside perspective, to challenge the guys. He's learning. He looks a lot more comfortable. Landon Danley, has really taken that next step for us, and we're gonna have to count on him this year. So I'd say the biggest improvement would be Trey McDonald. Losing Stevie, hurt, because Stevie was going to be, in that rotation, in that mix. But Landon is making progress to where he can be more than just a core special team guy. That he can get in there and give you valuable snaps if something were to happen. And excited to get James back later this week and get him rolling. But I like the demeanor that they're playing with. They've really taken to Coach Adams and really rallied around his style of coaching, his philosophy to the position, and it's been a fun group, and you're seeing they're playing with a little bit of swagger, and that's helping Cam too, because he knows he's got guys out there with him, that are elevating their level of play, to match the talent that he has.
The 2-minute drill. What kind of impact do you expect that to make?
Yeah, I mean it's
Or 2 minutes.
The 2-minute day had a 2-minute timeout. Yeah, we got to make sure in college we call it the 2-minute timeout. But I think some of your philosophy is going to change probably inside of 3 minutes, approaching that 2-minute timeout, and how you manage the clock, whether you're down or whether you're ahead. I think that the impact that it's probably going to have the most is now the 10-second runoff is now married to the 2-minute timeout, where it was a 1 minute inside a 1 minute deal, right? So any kind of penalties, and even injury. So you got injury timeouts, you got helmets coming off, you got instant replays that could cost you 10 seconds. Now that's being married to the 2-minute timeout. So I think you could see some more costly situations inside of 2 minutes where people don't have the appropriate timeouts to be able to combat any kind of 10-second runoff. So I think it's going to really impact one-score games, right? A lot like the NFL from that standpoint. And then I think you're going to see probably some philosophical differences as you approach the 2-minute timeout with play calling and philosophy, and in terms of 2 for 1 play, you got 2 plays, you got 1 play. How do you manage that in those situations?
Along those lines, how's the helmet communication and the iPad stuff been?
Yeah, so the iPad stuff we're going to get to really work this week as we go over to the stadium on Friday. I just got to remember the rule: you can't show the officials the iPad. So that's a big one, right? That's a 15-yarder right there. You can't walk up to the officials. So I got to educate the staff, regardless of what's on the video. We cannot show it to any of the officials. So that
Point to the Giants.
you could point. Yeah, we were told you could look at and that's going to be nice, because it's going to be nice and clear and big in Scott Stadium. I can point right there, but you can't put the iPad in their face. But we're excited to work with that. And the helmet communication is good, because it just gives you some flexibility, right? You can, it's not, I got some questions early on. Are you going to be able to really coach the quarterback up all the way until 15 seconds? Well, you got to be careful, right? Because they still got to play ball, right? You can't overcoach them, right? So, but you do have to resist that temptation to overcoach them with the communication. But it's been good, because now you can change and vary up your tempos. You can get in the huddle and protect some of your signals from the sideline, because you don't have to do as much. But you also still got to be prepared to operate as normal because again, it's a new system. I know it's coming from the NFL, but there'll be kinks that you got to work out, especially when you go to different venues. You'll be in different venues all around the country, and everybody may not have the same level of technological support. So you just got to be ready to operate how you always have. But it is a nice addition there, and then we got to be precise with how we use it, because the last thing you want is too many voices in the ears of those guys, because they gotta be able to play football too.
Did you talk to any NFL people about how to?
Yes. So with Dez and Coach Hef's backgrounds in the NFL, there's been communication with some of the NFL folks on just any kinks and just some advice for us on as we transition. There are some differences in the rules up there in terms of game management, but overall, yeah, we've had some conversations.
Who's wearing out defense for you guys?
So on defense, it'll be our Mike backer. Could be Cam, right? Man, could be. You see, the thing about it is, like, you got to be prepared to. This is where it's going to be a challenge. Is you can only have one on the field. Like in the NFL, you're only dressing 47, right? So you probably only have 2 Mike backers on the team, right? So very rarely are they going to be on the field at the same time. In college, right? You're going to play your top guys, early on. So you could have. So we got to be over there and play the hat switch game. Like, okay, you got the green dot, take care of the helmet off, and then you got special teams. They did give us a little bit of a reprieve. I think they're not gonna worry about kickoff and kickoff return right now with the multiple green dots. But any other special teams or offense, defense, you only can have one guy on the field. You get a total of 10. That you can disperse. Obviously, all your quarterbacks will have them on offense. Those are the only ones on offense that need one. But then defensively, you're going to have multiple guys trained to be able to do it and make the calls. And then you got to figure out, as guys go down, like let's say Cam's out for a series, then James may have to go get his green dot helmet, move over to Mike, and make the call. So it's just another dynamic that we got to work through as we prepare for the season.